Today's video is going to be me showing you what condition the garden's in right now, late summer. It's a jungle, but I'm going to share with you what's going on around here and give you some insight. I hadn't been out working in it a lot, but I'm glad that you're here and let me show you. Well, good morning. I'm glad that you're here. I'm making my first video for this week. I have been slap busy. I'm sure you have been too. But I'm glad that you're here today. I'm out in the yard. I hadn't been out here in probably a month to do anything. I wasn't out here much in July, and I haven't been out here much in August because it has been raining so much, and then it's been so hot. But I'm out here today. We've already harvested what little bit of elderberries that we were going to get this year, and you can see there's a lot of empty berry stems, and we didn't pick them. We let the birds eat them. But the only thing about that is the birds won't forget that next year. They'll be coming back to the exact same place wanting to eat them all again. But we had so many from last year that we didn't harvest very many. I did get like one tray off of this European elderberry that I've got right here, but I didn't pick it like I normally do. I didn't just make sure I got all of it off of there. Now I've taken some Miracle-Gro all-purpose food, and I'm going to water the plants that I've got out here. My hanging baskets, everything is getting plenty of water, but those hanging baskets, they have to be watered individually, or they'll just dry up. This one, the clematis, is looking a little dry on that one. That bluebell flower, it is really looking sad. So I've got to get everything water, even though they're calling for rain today. It's kind of overcast. You can see I'm going to put a little bit of this food, this Miracle-Gro food, in here in my basket watering bucket. Look at that sweet little sunny looking out. Now you might notice this is a new door. I think I showed you the part where Donald accidentally busted the full view door that was here. A rock flew up when he was weed eating, and the old door just shattered. So he got a new door. He put that on himself. I had to help him a little bit, not much. He did it all himself. And it looks so much better. We just left that old door on there for a long time. Our house was once white with black shutters. Now it's blue with white shutters and white trim. And we just left that door there because, they're kind of on the expensive side. I didn't decide to repaint it. Back in the day I would have just repainted the door. But I was afraid that it wasn't going to hold up to as much traffic as we have at our house. That if I painted the old door, that it was just going to rub off eventually, and I'd just have to keep touching it up. So I didn't repaint it, and just adding that new door with that white trim looks absolutely so much better, and it looks so much better from the inside. We'll step right in here and look at this door. I hope it don't bother Sonny, but it might. Cookie's in there at the back door getting the sunlight. Sonny takes the front door. Now I was going to do a porch makeover and paint this door red. But after getting the white trimmed door in here, I thought, oh my goodness, it just looks so good all white. It looks so much brighter. That I may not even paint this door red. But either way, I think it would look good. I might do the makeover and paint it red. I mean, it's only paint. We can always go back, can't we? But this door is just so much nicer than the old one that got shattered. Donald got it on, and it looks good. The handles are so tiny compared to the old handle. I mean, the old handle probably was 2 inches longer, and it looks like they've really cut down on the metal in this door. But Donald said we can buy a new door handle or use the one off of the old door. He saved it, and I told him just go ahead and put the one that goes with it on here, because it's enough, It doesn't have to be big. But I just noticed it has shrunken quite a bit from the last door we put in. I have got to get out here and water the hanging baskets, because this is what I see. You're going to see a lot of overgrowth because we've had a lot of rain. Look, the rain gauge is even covered up. We can't even see how much rain is in here. Oh, not too much. 3/4 of an inch. That was last night. That's just a sprinkling. We've been getting 3, 4, 5 inches of rain at a time. I hope I showed that to you. Sometimes I can get so into what I'm doing that I forget to make sure you got a good shot of it. Yeah, so it was 3/4 inches of rain in here. We'll be getting some more this weekend. Look at this pitiful hanging basket. It needs water. It'll perk up after it gets water. And look, there's a cicada. That's the thing that's been yelling at night. So I'm going to go ahead and get these watered. And they'll do so much better. The morning glories have just taken over out here. But you know, that's okay. I don't mind a wildflower garden. And these bring back so many memories. When I was growing up, I used to pick these around the house. And I would play with them like a bridal bouquet. You know, the flowers in the middle, the ribbons coming off. And I would just like do the bridal march. Dun, 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 dun. And these, I noticed these were in the garden this year. I didn't plant them. They came up on their own, but they sure did bring back good memories. Now with the heat being so high, the heat index being so high, the hummingbirds absolutely love this. If you want to draw hummingbirds to your garden, plant these morning glories. Now, you know, I did not plant the morning glories. My neighbor over on the other side, she's passed away now, but she used to plant them in her garden. And of course, as prolific as they are, if you plant them in your garden, they'll grow up in your neighbor's garden. And these is where they come from. And this was her favorite color. I used to have light blue ones that would come up in here, but she planted these, and it looks like these have become dominant in what are in the garden now. That's the hanging basket. You can't even see the other plant that I had in here. Now see, that one's it needs water, but it's doing better because it's being shaded by these morning glories. I have not got out here and tackled the jungle. I have not got out here and worked like I normally do. Between the heat and the storms, it just wasn't a feasible thing for me to do. So everything is slightly overgrown. Here it is at late summer, and my garden is just doing its own thing. But if you've been around here, you know I don't mind that a bit. I love natural growth. Of course, I am in the city. And look at that. That's a walnut tree grown up in the middle of this. That thing is huge. I've definitely got to cut it out, or I would dig it out if I could, but it's probably too much for me to dig out. That's definitely got to go today. Passion flower over here. Look at it coming up in the yard. This is a good example. Now, it never gets like this. Nobody usually sees this passion flower or passion plant come in our yard, because Donald is up on the yard all the time. He usually keeps it mowed to a T. He's been going through some dental surgery, working late, and helping care for his disabled mother. So he has not been around as much, and this is how it's kind of got in 1 week with him not being here. Now these would be excellent to dig up and give them to a friend who's wanting some You know, I love dandelions. They are welcome in my garden. Yep, that's how we found the Passiflora incarnata and got it into the garden. Now you can see some of the blooms. They're not open. They opened yesterday. They're open fully and beautiful for about a day, and then close up at night, and then you'll see them open up really beautiful for the next day. They're doing great on the trellis that we've got for them here. You can see the tiny fruit forming. We eat these. I've got a little grandson that loves them, looks forward to them blooming and fruiting every year. He looks forward to it, and we sit down and eat a couple of them. And not, I don't see any that's quite ripe yet, but there's definitely a lot of them hanging, finally growing on the trellis that we had for it. And it's not opened up enough to be beautiful. I think I might have some pictures that I took earlier. Now there's some wild rogue red buds here. Here's some echinacea still just enjoying the sun. They are going to seed, and the little birds, we have had a lot of goldfinches, the North Carolina goldfinch, and several other finches enjoying the seeds off of this echinacea. Everything is like a jungle. Gotta water those hanging baskets. Fill up the bird baths. Got bird nest in this little tree right here. Donald will mow this yard this weekend. I'll have to let my friends know if they want any of this purple passion plant, Passiflora incarnata. If they want any of it, they can certainly come and get some now. Now we had a big tree cut down. There's a huge maple tree that used to be right here. It shaded our front door. We loved it, but it got to where it was breaking at every storm. It just got too big for the area. And we've dealt with the roots on it here for years. You know, you can see right here, big roots. Well, the tree's been cut down for quite some time, and so these are just dilapidating. They're rotting right out of here, and that's a good thing. Donald's chopped and tried to get them out of the yard. And so they're finally just coming up on their own. So he's going to dig most of those up. You can see the roots are really woody. That was from a maple tree, just a normal sugar maple. That was really pretty, but it had to go. It got too huge for the yard. And he's got quite a few little ruts in the yard. Of course, he'll fill those in with soil. Then he'll plant more grass. And you can see where we had the mulch pile and it was bald right here, how thick and how much more the grass has grown up right here in this area. And so he'll do the same with these right here. He'll just get all the roots he can up with a pickaxe, and then he'll fill them in the dirt, in the ruts that the roots have made. And this will look just as good as this section over here before you know it. He may not plant grass until the spring. May still look like this a little bit during the winter, but that's okay. Of course, there's more passion flower growing and more fruits right in here. All these will be blooms. The blooms are just delightful. They're beautiful. They're exotic looking when they're opened up. And they're a joy. But everything is like a jungle. So it's a lot of growth. Heat and dampness, not too much problems of any other kind, not any diseases or anything. I did not get the new herb garden planted. We'll look at that in just a minute. I'm going to look over here on this side. Here's my mess that this crepe myrtle puts all over the driveway. But it was beautiful. It's coming to an end right now. Its season has ended. But when it was blooming, it was beautiful. Here's the calla lilies. They're yellow. I don't think I caught them in time. I think their blooming is over. But if there are more blooms, I'll share those with you. And the little knockout rose over here is still blooming. This tiger lily has bloomed. I think I shared that with you on a different video. And its seeds have already failed. I thought I'd get out here in time to get all of the seeds. I wanted to collect them. They'll grow seeds at each point here. The little seed, you can see it just nestles right in there. You can collect them and then plant them and have more. So tiger lilies are really easy to sow from. This is the new little crepe myrtle coming off of the parent crepe myrtle right here. Still in bloom. Still really pretty. It might get a little trim up this year. We'll see. We've got all of the jungly stuff over here. The yucca cane did bloom with its beautiful white, big white blooms. This is the stem off of it. But it was pretty when it was blooming. The neighbors' crepe myrtles are still blooming. I think this one is sort of over. But they're up the road. If you can see up the street, you can see some of the crepe myrtles in a row there. That looks like pure forest. No doubt about it. Look at that. It's like a jungle. Everything's thickly grown. Got to get out here and cut some of this stuff off of this other stuff. These hydrangeas that I got from the farmer's market last fall and planted them. They did not have as much growth as I thought that they would. Some of it, of course, died back here. Looks like one stem down here at the bottom is just completely gone. But this over here looks really good. So they might catch up a little later. We'll see. We'll see how those grow over into the future. Here's a little weeping cherry that's just come up on its own from the neighbors. It has that passion flower that I don't want in the garden, that red passion flower that you can't eat anything but the fruit. I love the Passiflora incarnata because it's native to my area and you can eat every part of it. This other passion flower that my friend gave me, to me it's not worth growing. Over here is where our mushroom spores are. You know, when Donald cut down the crabapple tree over here, it caused too much sun for our mushroom area over here, but I still have them covered up, hoping that they'll come back. Still saving some spores, and they love fruit trees. So Donald laid the crabapple tree down, and so maybe those will come back next year. The spores are still there, but that little weeping cherry would be really cute maybe in another area. May leave it here and I may move it. Of course, this is a privacy hedge because our white pines lost a lot of limbs on the bottom, and Donald planted a few of these You can get them at any local nursery most of the time. He planted those to fill in the gaps because, you know, we're in a city lot, a town. We're in a town, and we need plenty of privacy. You have to plant for your privacy or put up a privacy fence. This is that begonia that I love. Comes back every year looking good, and I have repotted that begonia. This is in need of water right here. It was looking really beautiful, but it needs water. Right here is a cutting of the begonia off of this plant. I need to get some cuttings. That's my little mother plant, and I'm going to get some little babies off of it. These are hydrangeas that I rooted. Still keeping all of my little terrarium type cups because I've got a lot more I want to root. But I rooted these 2 years back, and they seem to be doing good. I'll probably plant that next year. This is another one of the little begonia that I've got rooted that I love over there. Not too much going on in the rooting section. I'm still trying to root camellias for my friends. A couple of them are doing fine. Got about 4 of them here that I'll probably be able to pass on to the friends soon. And you know, just haven't been out here as much as I've wanted to be due to heat weather and storms. Just a lot of storms. So the house plants are out here getting used to the weather out here. Potting shed's still doing really good on this side of the house. Have not planted the rhododendron. It's still right here needing to be planted. There's other things that's been going on that I've got to get some shots off for you. Now see this coleus right here, wizard jade, is just drying up because I hadn't got out here and watered it. Now, I don't leave buckets of water sitting around because, you know, the mosquitoes. You don't want the mosquitoes breeding in anything. West Nile virus has been found in North Carolina, so yeah, we're taking the no water standing very seriously. That's that beautiful rhododendron. Hopefully I'll get it planted this fall. Donald's little pitcher plant that's native to North Carolina that traps insects inside of it. It's a bog, a B-O-G, bog plant. So it stays in water all the time and it takes full sun. It's doing great. We're losing one petal, but look, a new one's coming out right there, a new plant. So it's looking really good. He's happy with that. We'll have to make sure we bring that thing in before it gets too cold for it. Now I'm over here getting the hose out, and it's brushing across the peppermint. And it smells delicious. It took me back a minute. I had to go like, oh, what's that delicious smell? And it's the peppermint. I'm going to get this out and get it ready. I've got to water before the sun comes over here on this side. I'll go ahead and get some of this stuff watered before it's find the right setting on the hose. I don't want it sprayed. I want it kind of, there we go, like it's a light rain on it. Go ahead and get these flowers rained on, or wet a little bit, watered. Now see, these are more hidden back, so they don't get quite as much rain as out in the middle of the garden. And I hadn't been out here to water them like I should, so and there's one thing that always happens whenever I try to water these flowers is I have to run and use the bathroom. Okay, I'm back out. Grabbed the drink while I was out in there. We'll go ahead and water. I had to put my hair up too because the humidity is unbelievable out here. My shirt is already getting wet. I had to put my hair up off of my neck so it'd be a little bit cooler out here, but the humidity is really high out here today. Feels like southern heat for sure. Get back on the schedule, get some of these plants watered. They're already under enough stress from the really hot heat, you know. Of course heat is hot, but the extreme heat, we'll put it that way. So I have to make sure these have all the water they need. They probably should have been watered twice yesterday. That coleus looks like it's really sad. It might perk up or it might not. But I'll go ahead and give them their water. Now what I do with these is I water everything with the hose. I'll go through and water and get all of these potted plants, give them a good drink, get them good and drenched, and then I'll go behind this good soaking with this hose with the Miracle-Gro water that I've got over here in this bucket. You can see it right over here, it's blue. I'll feed after I get these good and soaked. Yeah, but there are a few serious, really serious hard working days that need to be done out here. And hopefully I'll be getting the time to do them. 2 of my grandchildren well, 3 of them have gone back to school. 3 of them are homeschooled. So things are lightening up, you know. Some of the summer stuff is lightening up. Summer things, and it's getting ready. Now I've got to pay attention to these potted green trees that I have out here, these evergreen trees. I've got to go ahead and make sure I get them good and give them a good drink. They'll be watered with a bucket of Miracle-Gro water too, just to feed them. They get compost every year. The garden and these potted plants, that these trees, like, they get amended with a top coating of compost every year, so they should be fine. There's a little rose bush. It bloomed really well. If you can see the peace rose, it's got 3 blooms on it, and those blooms are beautiful. There's one over here, and then one up at the top. I'll try and put an insert picture of a close-up of them so you can see how they look close up. You've probably saw them before in my garden, but I'll show you again. I'll show you again. Now I've got to plant these little, water this little plant here really well. Let me come over here and get these hanging baskets. They're getting in the sun. Got to catch them before they heat up, because you know you can't put cold water on a hot plant. It'll just kill it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these watered. And if these die out, they actually lasted a lot longer than I thought that they would. And they did a lot better this year, considering the circumstances, considering the heat and the thunderstorms. They'd get drenched and then they would dry out in the heat. They've really done better than I thought that they would. So I can't complain about them at all. Now next year I'm making a note in my garden journal to find heat tolerant plants, which I usually try to do, but I have gotten by in the past with just putting like impatiens and different things that are semi-shade out here, and they would do fine. But not this year. This year I needed solely heat plants, heat resistant plants or heat tolerant plants out here in this hanging baskets and some in the garden areas. There are a few echinacea down here, if you can see them. See if I can step over here. Whoops, got the phone right here. These echinaceas that are still really pretty down in the middle of this flower garden. I accidentally drenched this phone camera while I was watering. I have to be really careful. And then of course, after I soak these and give them a good douse of water, I'll put a cup of Miracle Grow water that has Miracle Grow in it, and give it a little bit of food to help resist all the heat that's coming today. Now Donald hates this. He hates when a plant goes rogue. That's a Passiflora incarnata growing up this tree. Now he would not be able to handle that, but that's something that I love. I love when the plants decide they're just going to do whatever they want to do, and they go ahead and do it. And they can be just as beautiful, bear just as many blooms, and have just as many fruit. But he hates that, so I'm going to go ahead and take that down so he's not fussing that the passion flowers are growing all into this little tree. I'm glad you decided to join me and come out here and check out the garden with me and help me get some watering done and checking out some things. It makes it a lot more fun doing it with friends. I'm just going to fill up this bird bath over here. These birds have really enjoyed the bird baths, having a place to land. Had a lot of hummingbirds this year. Of course, we always have a lot of hummingbirds. We used to feed the hummingbirds food that we would mix together and put in feeders, but we have so many plants now that they enjoy. And so for most of the point, we just go ahead and let them eat the natural food that's out here. Now these morning glories are starting to close up. They were fully open when we came out, and they're starting to close up because it's getting hot. It's getting later in the morning. The lemon balm is resilient. It's perfectly okay right here on the edges of the garden. It's doing just fine. It's getting time for the Virginia creeper to start changing color. It'll turn a beautiful orange, and that's the only reason I grow any Virginia creeper in my flower beds, is because it has a beautiful, absolutely beautiful fall color. There's a little butterfly that's brown. Let me see if I can catch him. That come to the Passiflora incarnata, or the passion flower plant, anytime you plant it. It's a little brown butterfly. We have had a lot of butterflies this year, and it's been a delight. And we actually saw birds eating butterflies. I don't know if you knew they eat butterflies. Me and Donald didn't really know, but we saw the monarch butterfly eat the center out of a butterfly. We saved those wings. I'll show them to you one day. But we were like, wow, that's why you might have a lot of butterflies one day and not many butterflies the next day, is because birds actually eat those. We've had more birds out lately. Well, I'm going to sit down and take a little drink. I am sweating. It is humid out here. I'm not going to be out here doing anything that I don't need to be doing. Now, I have to feed the animals. I have to feed them and make sure they have water. I do that in the morning and in the afternoon, so I've already went out there one time this morning, so I'll be making sure they have plenty of water and plenty of the things that they need to thrive. And then my kids will be here at about 10:30, so I can only get so much done. I'm not even going to try to tackle any of the weeds, because that'll be a full day job to get in here and pull and cut back weeds. And I'm not sure if I'll have to do that myself, but I'll be able to get it done. Even if I do it myself, I'll do it in small increments so that it's not overwhelming. But my herb garden, which I told you I was going to show you, let me go show you the perennial herb garden. It's not as full as I wanted it to be. The summer jumped on me really quick, and I didn't get a lot done, and it was like that last year too. I thought this year would be better, but the actual way this summer has went has really been different. So it wasn't anything that I could really control a lot about. Now, I wanted to put new perennial herbs in here. I wanted to put more sage and some different plants. I've got a pot that has peppermint in it down here, if you can see it. We've got a Virginia creeper trying to grow in there. But here is the peppermint, and I put it here in this little pot because I didn't want it to take over the whole perennial herb bed, which it will do. There's some goldenrod here, but you can see, because it was in this full sun. This is probably the most sunny area that I have in my garden, is this perennial herb garden. Here's our little compost bin on this end. And I see new growth on that ivy. We did not plant that ivy. I think I've shared that with you before. It is invasive. Been a little too hot on this goldenrod, but I harvest it in different places, so it'll be okay. There's a rosemary. It's covered up. I'll have to cut it out from under there. It's looking a little dry. I've got another rosemary right here. It's got some stuff growing over it. And some catnip. The cats absolutely love this. I'm going to pinch off a piece and take it in there. It's a treat for them. And then here's the comfrey. This patch of my comfrey was struggling for a little bit, and I couldn't figure out why. I didn't know what was going on with it. Well, it's actually too dry. It's too dry. I started giving it more water, and it's looking a lot better. It's actually spread a little bit. But this comfrey used to be huge. You can see how big this leaf is. This is my hand, and you can see that leaf is huge. And then I was just getting these tiny leaves, which, hey, I don't matter. It doesn't matter if they're huge or tiny, but I was just noticing a difference in the way this thing was growing, and it just wasn't getting enough water. That's what was going on with the comfrey. And I took a piece of this comfrey and dug it up and moved it to a different place because I do not want to lose my comfrey patch. It is that important to me. I had a clematis to die. This clematis was absolutely beautiful, has been for years. I see a little life here and there in it, but I'm going to replace it. This thing would be beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Not sure what happened to it, but it's okay. It may have dried out too. But we're going to clean this out, replace this trellis, and plant a different clematis since we know they do well there. The red buds, these are the red buds here beside of our driveway. We still have not got these two cut. We have to be really careful because this is the neighbor's driveway right here. We're really close. Now these are good neighbors. They don't care what we do over here. And you know, if it fell in their driveway for a little bit, they'd be perfectly okay with us chopping it up and everything. But we were deciding whether we wanted to lose that red bud or not because it's beautiful. You can see all the seeds still on these. That's why I have so many of those red buds in my garden, is because, you know, we didn't take the seeds off. So there's still a lot of seeds on these red buds, and they'll be falling off here in the fall and in the winter. And this is the shady area. Doesn't get much sun at all. This is more lemon balm that's in this container. There's some red bud growing up, and this is the Medusa, which is our wisteria. That's what Donald calls it. He calls it Medusa. And it was beautiful this year, and it bloomed really late. It usually blooms in spring along with these red buds, and it is beautiful when it does that. It's just a beautiful view right up this side of the house where the driveway's at. You got a red bud here. See all those seeds? See all those culprits? There they hang. I try to decide every year whether I'm going to take them things off or just let them fall, and it's work either way. If you take them off, it's a good day or 2 days work with the few red buds that I've got, and if you let them fall, then you've got to spend a lot of time digging them out of your garden. So either way, it's a lot of work, but I did not get them down this year, and there you go. There they hang. A lot of them have already fell and rooted. Here's the wisteria. I don't know how good of a shot I can get of it, but there's a wisteria bloom right here. And it usually does not bloom this late in the season, so that's been amazing. Now this wisteria is probably, I want to say 30 years old, at least 30 years old, and Donald battles it every year. That's why he was joking when we went shopping about calling this plant Medusa. He found 2 Medusa statues that they put up for Halloween. They put out so that you can buy them for Halloween, and he wanted to get them. Now this is a crepe myrtle. You can see the crepe myrtle right here, and it's back here. Now it wasn't getting quite a bit enough sun, so it's kind of not as many blooms as they get on them, the crepe myrtles, when there's full sun, but you can see them up there at the top, and we can see them good from the deck. The mimosa was over there. It was really pretty this year. It had plenty of blooms on it. Let me share with you about the deck. Deck work has begun. The old deck is tore down, and here it is. Donald's going to cut this up and haul it off. But we got the old deck tore down, and the new deck is up. It, however, is not completed. It doesn't have the steps yet, which the steps will come directly off of the door, the back door right here. The steps are going to come directly off of the back door. And there it is. The old one completely just fell off. My daughter and her husband knew a friend that did decks on the side. The kids have already been hanging out here. Donald put that new air conditioner in, and he's got this old one sitting out here because he wanted to clean it. He's going to put that one in his bedroom. It's a little bit nicer than the one he has in there now, so he's going to clean this. You know, he's in HVAC, so it can't just go back in the window. It has to be cleaned and serviced, and then it'll go back into the window down in his room. But we are really happy with the deck. It's finally big enough, we think, to have a cookout on with our whole family. And of course we use our whole yard, but the yard's not finished. We'll have to get to everything in its time, and it's Donald's been really busy, so it's been really hard for him. But there's no steps out here now, so we've been getting up and down with a ladder. That's hilarious, isn't it? If we need to come out, well, it's just easy to walk around. The compost pile is still here. I've got to empty my little compost bucket. In the house, I've got to come out here and put it in here. Here's the blackberries. Can you believe the blackberries are having a second bloom? They've decided that it's hot enough that it's still summer. They're going to bloom some more. Those are actually really beautiful, aren't they? New growth on the blackberry bush. This thing has done well. I think this was its third year, and it's just going to have to be cut back this year. I wish maybe I can figure out a trellis, maybe a caterpillar trellis, to put this blackberry bush on, because I think it's going to be the only one that I'm going to need. I was going to get 2 more, put one right here and one right here, but the way this thing is growing, I think one will be enough. So we'll just see. We'll see how that evolves. That'll be another note for the garden journal. Now, our garden struggled. It struggled in the heat, and it struggled, but I mean, it did fairly well. It's doing okay. We're not going to complain about it. There was things that did good and things that didn't do great. I mean, this has been a not great year for getting produce, but we got enough. We were not going to complain about what we've got. It was hot. Here's the curly dock. Donald did get some of it trimmed, and then a thunderstorm came. So there's still more seeds over here. We like to give our chickens our seeds like this because they absolutely love them. Mama asked, what do we do with our curly dock? We eat young curly dock in salads. I add it to my greens sometimes, and we use the root to make a tincture. Now here is a beautiful crepe myrtle. My kids got this for me. I think it was for Mother's Day. My Mother's Day and birthday, all of that's really close. But I'm thinking I got that for Mother's Day one year, and it's beautiful from the deck. It's hard to see from the bottom. Our peach tree does need to be pruned. We got a couple of peaches off of it, but nothing to brag about. Yeah, this purple crepe myrtle is really pretty. I hear you. The chickens are wanting to say good morning. They're eating spaghetti noodles, which they absolutely love. It's a treat for them. They think that it's worms. And then, of course, their food they've already picked out, and they're getting water. Have to make sure they have plenty of water. It's hot. If you can see back there, you see a lot of the caterpillar nest of little caterpillars. That's where our butterflies are coming from. That's actually the neighbor's tree over there that they have a lot of caterpillar nest in. And you know, you got to leave those caterpillar nest if you want butterflies, because if you take them down, you won't have butterflies. So I'm glad that they didn't kill them. Here's another project I did not get to this year. I wanted to plant this beautiful wheelbarrow in here. I wanted to plant it. It has a hosta and some creeping jenny in it. But I wanted to fill it with beautiful shade-loving flowers. I did not get to do that. This is a baby wisteria. So if any of my friends want a wisteria, I'll be able to dig that thing up and give it to them. This is the second Medusa Donald put it over here because he wanted it to grow up a trellis kind of to shade the deck. But I don't know if that's still his plan or not. He has to wrestle this thing so much. I don't think he's going to ask to have any more work to be done. But I think it's pretty. I love the tendrils on it. And the leaf. The blooms and the velvety seed pods. But it's toxic. Just know that this plant is toxic. Here's a poke salad plant wanting to grow here. Here's a wild grape. We don't need either one of you. We've got ants here. I'm going to have to put out some ant medicine, ant control out here. Had a lot of ants this year. Here are the angel trumpets. They've already got blooms on them. They usually bloom around October. They may bloom earlier this year because of the heat. We'll see how all that goes. Still got honeysuckles. We've had honeysuckles all year. That's one of Donald's favorite plants. This is a pink angel trumpet, and it's already got a bloom. 2 blooms actually. This is my little plant I bought at Christmas. I've got to water it, but it's doing great in this pot. Look at that. I may be able to use that indoors for a Christmas tree. We'll see. The day of this video is the 14th of August. So summer is winding up. The last day of summer will be September 21st. So fall is just around the corner. And we have to get ready for fall. I need to decorate. I've been pulling some little things out here and there. I'll show you those when we go in the house. The next video probably maybe fall decorating. I want to enjoy as much of the summer season as I can, but it's time to decorate for fall. I've got those tomato peelings in my mouth where I ate those little Tommy Toes, those little garden snacks out there. Yep, so it's absolutely great the last few days of summer, there's a lot that comes with it that's kind of not as grand, not as showy as spring. And then there's lots of things to enjoy before it starts getting chilly. And it'll be here before we know it. Well, I sure do thank you for joining me today here at Much Ado About Something and looking at the front gardens, and let me share with you what we've got done on the deck. There's been a lot going on around here. There's been a lot that's happening. I want to share with you as much of it as I can. I hope you come back. Hope you subscribe, hype, share, comment if you've got something to say. I love to read your comments, and I try to always comment back. Well, you know how it is around here. You know what I always say at the end of my videos. Like always, until next time.